It's the Real Talk Show with R.S. Brown.
Oh, what you say now?
It's the Real Talk Show with R.S. Brown.
Man, I ain't got nothing but real talk for you.
It's the Real Talk Show with R.S. Brown.
Hold up, man, we got to start the show.
It's the Real Talk Show.
Hello and welcome to Real Talk with R.S. Brown. I'm R.S. Brown. Listen, we did a show called The Sip and Talk down at the Humana Treehouse, and the topic was reparations. And so it was a really intense conversation. It was an intense conversation. So we decided to take some of that 2 hour and maybe an hour and 2.5 hours worth of footage and put it on Real Talk with R.S. Brown, the show, as we did on our Facebook Live. But first, let's start off. The question was, what is reparations? And so we got some answers for that.
My initial thought it was never money, but it was definitely land. Resources, that's a huge resource. You know, when you talk about land, you can plant your own food, you can build, you know, you can organize. And that was a thought of mine. The initial thought was never money, it was land.
So I think in addition, I guess kind of piggybacking what you were saying, in addition to the land and the money, also what needs to be in place is like mental health, something to repair that hurt and that trauma that we as a people experience. So I think that would be the start of that. To the start of the healing process.
All right, so hopefully you kind of got an idea about what reparations is. Now, the question was, will it solve the problem? Will getting it solve the problem? As you see, the conversation is getting really good.
Will reparations solve the problems for the African American community? Define the problems first. If you first define the problems, that's how you can find a solution. Is reparation the answer for a lot of things that we see when it comes to poverty or to mass incarceration, displacement, things of that nature? A lot of that's come off a mindset. Reparations can't reverse Willie Lynch. You know, Willie Lynch was done for 400 years. It was the same premise that was given and done for the Egyptians. The Egyptians did it to the Hebrews for 400 years and controlled them. Willie Lynch, a slave owner in Virginia, saw that this was effective by doing history. If I can make history repeat itself, I can keep this band of people enslaved for 400 years to a mindset. So if you never change your mind, then you'll never get out of a place of displacement. What is displacement? The key word in that is this. You can't, if I displace you, that means I'm taking you out of your normal environment. I'm taking you out of your normal social construct, as I said earlier. I'm taking your culture away from you. If you have no cultural basis, then how can you then be who you say you are?
Say, what is the problem? The number one problem is that we have been robbed of the knowledge of self. We are people that was taken 9,000 miles away from our homeland and brought to an unknown future in America. And then you took away your name, your language, your God, your country, and you took away a history of a people. And then you sell them not for a day, not for a month, not for a year, but 300 years. And we were known as a chattel slavery, which is the English word for cattle. And so when they used to sell us, they would sell us with the chickens and the horses and the feed, and we were property. And we were supposed to be property forever. We were never supposed to be at a stoplight driving in a BMW, you know, or somebody's job in America. We were supposed to be the burden bearers of the United States of America. And so what does America owe, and what does Europe actually owe? Because they in a worse position, colonizing Africa, taking the wealth out of it, and making us work for free for 400 years in America. So think about, you know, let's go to a scripture when the scripture says, in Obadiah, it says, as thou hast done, so shall it be done unto you. Y'all heard that scripture before, right? You heard this one, as a man soweth, so shall he reap, right? So, yeah, you know in your life that you're only going to be able to get away with wrong for a certain protracted period of time before you get caught. So just imagine what God has in store for America by what she has done to her slaves. And we are that people in the scriptures. We are the people in Egypt. America is Egypt. We have a modern day Pharaoh, which is the government of America, that took rights away from us. You couldn't even be buried in the same plot with white people. You couldn't go to school. You couldn't have a family. And then they would sell us, and my cousin would be in Alabama, and you know my brother would be in Wisconsin somewhere, and they separated us. And you know they just had a lynching memorial that told of the untold lynchings that happened of us wanting to have land, and we get in an argument with some white person, and they would lynch us and drag us down the street and kill us for nothing. And so what does America, or what, and just think about, not only take yourself out of the picture, just think about God's justice and what he requires from the universal perspective of what justice is. And so, man, I mean, what is the price tag on the millions of lives that have been taken? And now we are sitting here in 2018. You can't even go to a Starbucks and sit down and have a cup of coffee, or just sit down like a dignified person without somebody, like you a slave, man. I mean, black people don't understand that you are still a slave. You are a slave because you have no rights that they are bound to respect in America. You know? So, I mean, we got to get that in our mind about, you know, where are we presently? And like, I'm gonna end with this about, you know, with Kanye, right? Kanye said that, you know, about the choice thing, about slaves had a choice. And I'm thinking about in 2018, I'm like, damn, I mean, do we have a choice now? Are we choosing to be subservient slaves with the most educated, the most money of any black people in the world, and we still don't have a toilet tissue making factory? I mean, just based off of taking our children out of these godless public schools, we should want to have money and land to build schools so that we can produce a better youth population. Just based off that.
Joyce, I thought you were going to call Universal Plumbing.
I called my brother. He fixed it last week.
You called your brother to fix the plumbing? Your brother can't even fix a sandwich.
He saved us a lot of money.
Yeah, well, your brother is not a plumber. Look at this place. Call Universal Plumbing now.
Call Universal day or night.
First-rate service at a flat-rate price.
Universal Plumbing.
Quick response.
Flat rates.
Kendrick's Clearing in Holland. We are located at 1247 New Savannah Road, Augusta, Georgia. We do land and lot clearing, demolition, and roll-off rental. We are still doing the job right after 35 years. You can reach us at 706-722-4409. Again, it's 706-722-4409.
A Brighter Beginning Child Care Center, located at 3423C Deansbridge Road, where your children have a brighter beginning. You can contact us at 706-793-9776.
Not this house. This house protected by Callaway Security.
Callaway Security. Got you.
What's going on?
Don't worry, ma'am. We're Callaway Security. We're here.
Thank God for Callaway Security.
So give us a call at Callaway Security, where we make being safe affordable.
It's the Real Talk Show with R.S. Brown. Real Talk Show.
Welcome back to Real Talk with R.S. Brown. So we had the Real Talk with R.S. Brown radio show co-host, Miss Destiny Aspire, co-host with me on the TV show and on our Facebook Live, talking about reparations at the Sip and Talk. So she had some questions too, and this was a really good one. So let's check out Destiny. Yeah. So let's bring us back into the questions. You got some questions too. We can start with one of your questions to start off the conversation.
Definitely. So we've got a list of them. You know,
Yeah.
we've actually covered and answered a lot of the questions already, just in the first few segments of the show. So we kind of talked about how everyone said, some people said mindset, repairing, their definition of reparations. So my question would be, and this may be a little futuristic, my question is, if reparations are implemented and put into place, how do you envision the United States with reparations being in place? What does that to you look like? A world or a nation that did allow or allocate reparations to its people who did suffer through slavery or imprisonment or things of unjust due. What do you see the United States as? What does that look like to you if these things are implemented and put into place?
All right.
I don't know if y'all are familiar with the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and he wrote back in the 1930s about that America would have to give the former slaves 7 to 8 to 10 states that had land that was minerally rich and with an outlet to the sea. Wow. That you could have trade and commerce. Now think about this, you know, after working for 400 years for free labor, and America became wealthy because of the cotton industry. And we're the ones that made America rich and powerful. We're the ones that built the White House. We're the ones that built the plantations. We're the one that cut the underbrush, and built the railroads. We're the ones that did all of the heavy lifting, and we did it for free. And then our families were destroyed. We were mentally driven insane. I said, don't you think that that's justified, that we can have our own stuff at this point in time? You know, why continue to live like this when God is demanding? And see, you got to bring the spiritual aspect of this whole conversation into view, because remember, Abraham was given the prophecy that know for surety your seed, Abraham, will be in a strange land for 400 years, and they would serve a contrary people. And after that time of the 400 years is up, he said, I will come, and I will come down and see if the cry altogether is what I have heard. He said, and then he said he was going to make the people that oppress you pay, and then said after that you're going to come out with great substance. So the promise of God is that for the former slaves, after all that we've been through, and we are not a bitter people. You know, think about after slavery, we would have been justified walking around here with axe handles
That's right.
and knives and guns and just killing everybody. But we didn't do that. Our heart was made. Slavery was a part of our history. We were made into a certain kind of people that we will redeem humanity because of our redemption. It's a redemptive type thing. And so we are the ones that's going to lead America and the world back to sanity, because of we know what it feels like. We treat everybody good except for us.
That's right.
And just to end on this note, you talk about what it looks like in the future. You're talking about unity of us as a people. We tried everything else, but it is hard for us to be unified and the bond of love with your brothers and sisters. We have a hard time getting along, you know. So if we could get this money, we can get this land, we can get industry going, we can have money to build factories, build schools, build hospitals, build infrastructure like we used to have our own black towns and cities before people got upset with our progress and they just burned it down. I mean,
so you mentioned
yes.
You mentioned that you felt the future of the U.S., it looked as if something of unity.
That's right.
How do you feel in particular that setting in reparations, how do you feel that will create unity amongst the black culture, giving them these resources and these land, the money, whatever it may be? How do you feel that will bring unity amongst us as a people?
Well, first of all, we'd be happy because we have our own stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I would be happy. And you know what I'm saying? I mean, if you can, we're living in with lack. we're living in poverty. That's why we're upset with each other. That's why we can't have no constructive conversation with one another. That's why we're angry, upset.
Yeah.
And we're not happy because we're not fulfilled. We need money. You can't be a man without money.
That's right.
So you needed to provide for your family.
Joyce, I thought you were going to call Universal Plumbing.
I called my brother. He fixed it last week.
You called your brother to fix the plumbing? Your brother can't even fix a sandwich.
He saved us a lot of money.
Yeah, well, your brother is not a plumber. Look at this place. Call Universal Plumbing now.
Call Universal day or night.
First-rate service at a flat-rate price.
Universal Plumbing.
Quick response.
Flat rates.
Kendrick's Clearing and Hauling. We are located at 1247 New Savannah Road, Augusta, Georgia. We do land and lot clearing, demolition, and roll-off rental. We are still doing the job right after 35 years. You can reach us at 706-722-4409. Again, it's 706-722-4409.
A Brighter Beginning Child Care Center, located at 3423C Deansbridge Road, where your children have a brighter beginning. You can contact us at 706-793-9776.
Not this house. This house protected by Callaway Security.
Callaway Security. Got you. What's going on?
Don't worry, ma'am. We're Callaway Security. We're here.
Thank God for Callaway Security.
So give us a call at Callaway Security, where we make being safe affordable.
It's the Real Talk Show with R.S. Brown. Real Talk Show.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back to Real Talk with R.S. Brown. Listen, we're talking about reparations on the show that we had down at the Humana Treehouse, the Sip and Talk event. And so we actually had a young lady who just moved to America about 15 years ago, and she was an immigrant. And so she talked about how just that conversation about reparations really gave her some clarity. So let's check out her response to it.
First of all, thank you for breaking this down to the T.
Yeah.
If I may just elaborate on this and bring to your perspective, my point of view, for being A foreigner, B, I am a European, I know about the history. And yes, everything you all say is true, and you all have my utmost respect. And I cannot imagine what you all are going through on a daily basis. But I'm here to understand. But I also sit here and I'm thinking to myself, should it really just be role play? Come on. Here I am as a foreigner living in the United States. I came here, I had nothing. Now what do I have? After 15 years of living here, after 15 years of being by myself, not having any support from anybody, I had to figure living here in the United States out by myself. Okay? How come foreigners that come into this country are all of a sudden successful? They're making it. They're going through the school system. They're building their own businesses, and they're successful. And their family members are following and keep building on that system. I'm talking about many nationalities. It's not only the Germans, it's the Hispanic, the Italians, Asian people. Think about it. Businesses they are building. And it is so sad to see how the African American race, I refuse to say the B word because black is beautiful. And then don't let nobody else tell you anything different. Why does it have to be about skin color? And that everybody has a name. Everybody has personality. Let it shine, let it be known, let everybody know who you are and what you are made out of. You all are on the right track. It is sad to see that the government system is still suppressing each and everybody. How come there are not enough lawyers and not enough judges beating the government system and demanding you need to claim it, claim what you all deserve and what belongs to you all. Let me tell you something. When I'm here and when I tell people how different the ways of living are here in the United States, I have heard from many people, well, why don't you go back where you came from? I refuse to go back where I came from because this is my home now. And yes, I feel many times that my traditions are not being able to be put in place because America is different. I had to learn that my traditions, my ways of cooking, my ways of dressing, God, my family says America swallowed my daughter, America swallowed my sister, because now all of a sudden I don't know who I am anymore. I don't know where I belong to anymore. In between chairs. You all know your traditions. You all know them. And you all are living them. And I'm jealous. And I admire each and everybody that is able to go ahead and to be able to show and shine. Keep on. And much success. That's all I can say.
Joyce, I thought you were going to call Universal Plumbing.
I called my brother. He fixed it last week.
You called your brother to fix the plumbing? Your brother can't even fix a sandwich.
He saved us a lot of money.
Yeah, well, your brother is not a plumber. Look at this place. Call Universal Plumbing now.
Call Universal day or night.
First-rate service at a flat-rate price.
Universal Plumbing.
Quick response.
Flat rates.
Not this house. This house protected by Callaway Security.
Callaway Security. Got you.
What's going on?
Don't worry, ma'am. We're Callaway Security. We're here.
Thank God for Callaway Security.
So give us a call at Callaway Security, where we make being safe affordable.
Hey, listen, R.S. Brown here, and I want to encourage you to check out the Real Talk with R.S. Brown radio show. Yes, did you know that? We have a radio show as well. It's on WAAW Shout 94.7 FM. Guess what time we come on? We come on Saturdays now. Every Saturday from 6 to 8 p.m. We got the first one, that's our Real Talk hour, and the second hour is our Rated R hour. It's a lot of excitement in it. Check out Real Talk with R.S. Brown on WAAW Shout 94.7 FM.
It's the Real Talk Show with R.S. Brown. Real Talk Show.
All right, now after hearing all the talk and all of the good conversation, the good dialogue, which was really good, and you can check out the rest of it on our Facebook page, Real Talk with R.S. Brown. You can see the whole 2 hours worth of an event. I mean, it's worth your time. I'm gonna tell you, it's worth your time. But after we, got some good dialogue and got to understand about each other, I wanted to make a call to action. I wanted to change our words into action. So I asked the question, how? And so let's check out what the answer on that. What do we do next? How can we change our words into action? And so I'm going to put this up to the panel. How can we change our words to action? I don't want to leave here today without coming up with some kind of form of action plan. I don't want to leave here today with just saying, everybody say, well, they had some good real talk. That's all. It was some good real talk. But then you go back in and you go back to being enslaved and you go back into that same mindset. I want this conversation to really open our listeners and our viewers and our Facebook livers up. All right? So who wants to take, what's the next stage? How can we change our words to action?
Okay, well, again, today we had some fellowshipping of words, even the words that were quite negative, but I think you get the idea of where I was going with intellectualizing the word. And only that word demands reparation. Now, when we start to write down listings, as I said before, and create a criteria, as I said before, that's actually putting it into action.
That's right.
And that's how it's got to be. In our homes, in our communities, wherever we go, that conversation has to be. You say, what's up, bro? What's up, my man? You good? What's up with that reparation, though? I'm serious. That's
right.
how addictive and habitual that has to be. This man, I missed the name again, Senator Congressman Conyers.
Yes.
John
Conyers, for
25
years, has been going to Congress with the listings of demands for reparation. This man is old. God bless him. That he's one person every year and dusts off that paper and says, okay, I'm here again. That's commitment. That's consistency. So that's part of it. And I'm sure there's other people that want to add on, but the conversation has to be consistent to the point to where you turn on the TV, and if they're not talking about reparation, don't watch that anymore. I'm serious. You go to your church, and they say, now it's time for prayer. Pray for reparation, brother. You have to speak up. It is real and serious. You go to school, and your teacher's talking about classwork, whatever. The child is writing down notes. Excuse me, Miss Sutton, can I ask you a question? Can we write reparation 100 times on the board? I'm serious. That's how important it is to be in sync with each other collectively, and that's how it starts. I mean,
Reparations right here on Real Talk with R.S. Brown. That was our Sip and Talk event. I hope you enjoyed today's show. Like I said, you can go on Facebook, Real Talk with R.S. Brown, to see our total 2 hours worth of Facebook Live at the Sip and Talk at the Humana Treehouse, talking about reparations. It was a great event, and a lot of people got a good understanding about it and what to do next. So go check that out on our Facebook page. I hope you checked it out, or you checked out the show and you enjoyed the show today right here on Real Talk with R.S. Brown. Like I say every Saturday, if better is possible, good is not good enough. And so at our event, we said we want to go for better. So don't just be in the zone of good, be in the zone of better. Don't just be great, be the greatest. R.S. Brown here, signing off.
It's the Real Talk Show with R.S. Brown.
Oh, what you say now?
It's the Real Talk Show with R.S. Brown.
Man, I ain't got nothing but real talk for you.
It's the Real Talk Show with R.S. Brown.
Hold up, man, we got to start the show.
It's the Real Talk Show